Hi, I'm Maryah Greene, the plant doctor and stylist, and this is Greene Thumb, the show where I show you how to add some green to your space.
But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to Well+Good.
Today I'm here in Brooklyn for a client consultation to get more details about what the clients are looking to add to their space. Some of the questions that I often ask are, what's your schedule like? What's your past experience with houseplants? Are there any must-have plants that you've seen out there?
And with all of those questions combined, we're going to find the right plants for their space.
So today we're just focusing on the living room, which serves as a common area for these 4 roommates.
These young professionals use their common area to spend time together and sometimes even do a little bit of work from home. So they've just moved into this space and their common area gets tons of light. It exists on a spectrum, so towards the windows, it looks like they're receiving a lot of light in the front, and as you move back into the main living space, it gets a bit darker. So we're going to have to mix up the variation of plants that we add.
On the scale of 1 to 4 of a Greene Thumb, I would rate myself at around a 1, maybe a 1.5.
I would give myself 1 Greene Thumb because I've never had a plant I didn't kill.
Definitely 1. I don't think I know really anything about plants, and I only buy like supermarket flowers that I like kill right away. So yeah, definitely don't trust myself to take care of anything planty.
I have seen monsteras a lot on Instagram, and I just want to have what everyone has on Instagram. No, not really, but they're really beautiful.
I think I like the smaller plants because I think then you can do like interesting arrangements with like different pots or just like putting them in like the windowsill.
Maggie is really excited about birds of paradise. That's one of her favorite plants, so I'm interested in that as well.
I really want and need a bird of paradise in my home.
Most of us work from home. We're around enough, to care for things, but we also don't want it to be like a super time-consuming part of our routine.
Shopping for Daniela, Sam, Maggie, and Stephanie is tricky because I want to keep in mind that they will be learning as they go. The plus side is they have a lot more time at home to get into the rhythm of caring for these plants. Here's a tip. If you feel like you're lower on the Greene Thumb scale, when shopping for new plants, look for a small to medium monstera or a ZZ plant that's no larger than 8 inches to build up your confidence. I know that the bird of paradise and monstera are must-have items, so I'm looking for some 12-inch plants that would fit into a 14-inch pot and fill out some of the bare spaces in their common room. I'm also keeping an eye out for some smaller 4-inch plants, thinking parlor palms, pothos, dieffenbachias, and snake plants, so that they can have a variety of plants with different care needs since they're all committed to pitching in.
After we get the plants for the space, we haul them all inside, and that's where the fun begins.
So we need to massage this before we pull it out, because if we just yank it out, the roots will come apart.
Right.
So you're literally just gonna start pushing it together. There you go. And you'll start to feel it kind of loosen up. Not really, but this is just the first step before we yank it out. So if you just do that a couple times. So then, the next step, do you have those cutting shears? For the bird of paradise, because it's so large, I like to tip it on its side, and then I like to use one of these holes and just start to slice. You want to be careful of roots, so I tend to do this sideways. So now what we're using the bag for, when we pull this out, we're gonna sit it in the bag so we can get rid of old soil. And then me and Sam are gonna hold it, and you're just gonna pull upwards. You got it. You got it. Keep going. You got it. All right. And then sit it right here.
You're supposed to be done with everything.
Perfect. You got it. Now, we're gonna get into the root system. Roots are key to your plant's survival. You want to make sure you give your plant's roots attention when you first purchase it so that it has a greater chance of success. Now this is an example of root rot. These are healthy roots. When you start to see them brown and mushy at the ends, this was them sitting in too much water. That's what we're trying to prevent with those drainage rocks. When brushing away soil from the nursery pot, get rid of as much as possible without damaging or disrupting the roots so much. So as you keep pulling them out, they just start to get longer and longer. Be careful when trimming roots. Some smaller roots that are rotten will break off and deteriorate on their own over time. You'll know you're done clearing old soil when the roots are elongated, no longer nestled in that circular shape of their nursery pot, and ready for their new home. Look for regular houseplant soil for tropical plants, but if you're potting something else, do some additional research to make sure your soil has the proper drainage for your plant. Generally speaking, I like to fill up a pot about 1/3 of the way up, but this is a guessing game and it depends on the size of the root system, so don't worry about getting it perfect on the first shot. Be sure to leave about 1/2 inch to 1 inch of room at the top of your plant's pot. So this one is all good to go. Wow. That's it. So now the rest of them will be a breeze. After completing the bird of paradise, we'll follow the same steps for the remaining plants, massaging the plant's roots until it's safe to remove it from the nursery pot. Then we'll remove the old soil to let the roots stretch out. Wow, it's perfect. Oh, wow. Boom. Once the plants are all freshened up, we'll put them in the agreed upon spot based on the varied lighting in the common room. Then we'll follow that up with a lesson on watering. But you basically, if you need to, you want to move the foliage out the way, and in a zigzag motion, you want to cover as much surface area as you can. We're going to need to use 2 of those, so it's okay if you don't cover. Honestly, I would think of splitting this pot in half. Just water this side, and then the other can will water the other side. You're perfect, that exact motion. Now this one doesn't have a hole at the bottom, so you're gonna try your best to mimic the volume of the pot to the watering can. So this is almost the size of the watering can, so we'll need a whole one of these to water this plant.
Seems like a lot of water.
Yeah, the first time that you water a plant though, all of the soil is dry. So the next time you water it, you're only gonna do half. I think this selection of plants is a good start for these plant parents in training. We can always add more after they get into a rhythm with these, but for now, this is a good start to adding green to their space.
Well, it looks like my work here is done. I think the clients are really happy with their new space and really enjoyed getting their hands messy. That's all for this episode of Greene Thumb. As always, my name is Maryah Greene from Greenpeace, and remember to subscribe to Well+Good. See you again soon.